Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Wednesday. We got 11 matchups on this NBA slate today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below. And if you guys like betting on NBA player props, go ahead and check out ParlayPlay, the simplest and easiest player prop site. And I'll definitely be promoting them for a long time, guys. So go ahead and check them out. $10 just for signing up. Go ahead and hop in there, cash out, guys. And yeah, hop into it here. Pretty big slate today. Starting with the Atlanta Hawks versus the Orlando Magic. Hawks opening up as 7.5-point favorites with the over-under at 225. The last 10 head-to-head Atlanta 6-4, 5-4-1 covering in those matchups. The over has hit in 5 out of the last 10 meetings. Atlanta 5-5 in their last 10. Orlando just 1-9 in their last 10. Orlando, they've just been just awful here. No major injuries to report here, honestly. Atlanta 4-1 in their last 5 against the Magic. 4-1 covering on the road right now. Really just don't have much faith in this Atlanta Hawks team. I mean, how can you? This Orlando Magic team. Hard to trust them. They've just been horrible. Not taking the Magic at home. Rolling with the Hawks. -7.5 on the road. Add them to your moneyline parlays. Next matchup, we have the Houston Rockets versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs opening up as 8.5-point favorites with the over-under at 221. The last 10 head-to-head, Houston 6-4. Cleveland is 6-4 covering in those matchups. The over has hit in just 4 out of the last 10 meetings. Houston 8-2 in their last 10. Cleveland 8-2 in their last 10 as well. Houston currently, 5-0 covering the spread right now, which is kind of crazy. But they're horrible on the road, just 2-18 on the road. Cleveland 10-0 covering in their last 10 games, 12 on a 12-game covering streak. They're 23-5-1 covering the spread this season. Absolutely crazy. Crazy, but we're taking the Cavs -8.5 at home. That's just what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. Taking them -8.5, especially at home. Add them to your moneyline parlays. Rolling with Cleveland. Next matchup, we have the Miami Heat versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers opening up as 3-point favorites with the over-under at 207. The last 10 head-to-head, split down the middle, 5-5. Miami is 6-4 covering in those matchups. The over has hit in 7 out of the last 10 meetings. Miami just 4-6 in their last 10. The Sixers 5-5 in their last 10. No Jimmy Butler. Morris is out. Oladipo, Bam's still out. Harrow's questionable. Philly, I do see Curry and Embiid are questionable. That's kind of huge. If at least if Embiid doesn't play, that kind of changes the whole game here. Philly 5-1 at home against Miami. This is pretty easy for me. Miami, they've been struggling here. So many injuries. It's unfortunate. As long as Embiid plays, we're taking the Sixers -3 at home. Add them to your moneyline parlays. As long as Embiid plays, to be honest, if Embiid doesn't play, stay away from this matchup. This could go either way. Yeah, if Embiid plays, we're taking Philly. If not, fading this entire matchup. Next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas opening up as 2-point favorites with the over-under at 217. The last 10 head-to-head, the Lakers 7-3. Dallas 4-6 covering in those matchups. The over has hit in 4 out of the last 10 meetings. The Lakers 6-4 in their last 10. Dallas just 4-6 in their last 10. The Mavs, no Luka, which is unfortunate. Lakers playing pretty decent in their last few games. Haven't been horrible. Mavs got a couple wins here, but they've been struggling. They're just a much different team without Luka. Don't know how long Luka's going to be out, but he'll be out for a tiny bit. The Lakers 9-3 in their last 12 against Dallas, 8-4 covering against the Mavs. I hate picking against my Mavs, but without Luka, man, it's really hard to trust the Mavs. It really is. Going to take the Lakers +2 on the road here. No major injuries for the Lakers, which is nice. LeBron James is probable. Anthony Davis is questionable. We'll see if Anthony Davis plays. I mean, I would imagine he plays, but be sure to check his status. We're taking the Lakers plus the points on the road. Next matchup, we have the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Pelicans opening up as 1.5-point favorites with the over-under at 210.5. The last 10 head-to-head, OKC 7-3. 6-4 covering in those matchups. The over has hit in 4 out of the last 10 meetings. The Pelicans 5-5 in their last 10. OKC 2-8 in their last 10. Yeah, I mean, both teams just playing, pretty bad basketball here. Pelicans, they've struggled against OKC, just 2-6 covering in their last 8 against the Thunder. 2-6 in their last 8 against the Thunder, straight up. Yeah, this is a pretty ugly match here. Not in love with it whatsoever. Gonna instead of taking an underdog here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take the over 210.5. That's gonna be my play here. I can't back either team in this scenario. I just can't do it. A 1.5 point spread. Just stay away from this matchup. Maybe take the over. That might be the only okay play here. And that's pretty much all I'm rolling with on this matchup. All right, next matchup, we have the Charlotte Hornets versus the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs opening up as 3.5-point favorites with the over-under at 228. The last 10 head-to-head, the Spurs 7-3. 5-5 covering in those matchups. The overs hit 4 out of the last 10 meetings. Charlotte 4-6 in their last 10. The Spurs 6-4 in their last 10. Charlotte 5-1 covering in their last 6 games. But they have been struggling, dealing with all those COVID issues and all those up. I do see Ball is questionable for Wednesday. We'll see if he comes back from COVID. That'd be a huge addition for this Charlotte squad. Spurs 7-2 covering in their last 9, 12-2 at home against Charlotte. Spurs, they pretty much dominated the head-to-head battle here. And I like the Spurs at home, -3.5 money line. Just too many injuries and COVID concerns for the Charlotte squad. Gonna roll with the Spurs at home. Next matchup, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets. Denver opening up as 4.5-point favorites with the over-under at 217. The last 10 head-to-head, Denver is 10-0, covering in 5 of those matchups. The over is only hitting 4 out of the last 10 meetings. Minnesota 4-6 in their last 10. Denver 5-5 in their last 10. Yeah, Minnesota, they've struggled against Denver on a 10-game losing streak. 2-4 covering against Denver. 0-6 on the road against Denver. I mean, virtually no success against Denver whatsoever. Rolling with Denver -4.5 at home against this Timberwolves team that just cannot beat Denver on the road. Gonna roll with the Nuggets both ways on or at home. Next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Utah Jazz. Jazz opening up as 8-point favorites with the over-under at 215.5. The last 10 head-to-head. Both teams 5-5. Clippers are 5-4-1 covering in those matchups. The over has hit in 5 out of the last 10 meetings. Clippers 6-4 on their last 10. Utah 8-2 in their last 10. Surprisingly, Clippers playing good against Utah. 4-1 in their last 5 against Utah, but they're not playing good on the road at all. Just 1-7 on the road against Utah right now. Utah playing great basketball right now. Both teams playing solid here. See Paul George and Batum are questionable. We'll see if Paul George plays or not. Utah 5-2 covering in their last 7. I like the Jazz at home. Not in love with the 8 points because I think Clippers could cover here. They've just been able to cover lately. 4-2 covering in their last 6. For me, Jazz are more of a money line play for your parlays, especially at home. Kind of scared of with that spread, so I don't hate the Clippers plus the points, but taking Jazz on the money line at home, add them to your parlays. Next matchup, we have the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers opening up as 1-point favorites with the over-under at 219.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Portland 6-4, covering in 5 of those matchups, 5 of those 10 match meetings. The over has only hit in 4 out of the last 10 matchups. Memphis 8-2 in their last 10. Portland just 2-8 in their last 10. Yeah, I'm staying away from this Portland team for a while. They just don't have it, man. They just are just playing very bad basketball. Memphis surprisingly playing really good without Ja Morant, which is kind of crazy, but they're playing good basketball. Even with this Portland team at home, they're just hard to trust. We'll take our chances on Memphis +1 on the road. Next matchup, we have the Washington Wizards versus the Sacramento Kings. Both teams currently in a pick'em scenario at even odds, with the over/under at 225.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Washington 6-4, 5-4-1 covering in those matchups. The over has only hit in 2 out of the last 10 meetings. Washington 4-6 in their last 10. Sacramento 5-5 in their last 10. Washington, they're struggling right now. 0-5-1 covering in their last 6. 1-8 covering on the road. Just not able to cover on the road or in general right now. No major injuries. Kuzma is questionable for this matchup for Washington. Neither team coming into this game playing hot at all. I like Sacramento here at home. Washington, they've just struggled on the road against Sacramento. Just 3-8 on the road against Sacramento here. In a game where it's even odds, no value on either side. We'll take the Kings at home. All right, and then the last matchup, we have the Indiana Pacers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks opening up as 1.5-point favorites with the over-under at 212.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Milwaukee 9-1, 8-2 covering in those matchups. The over has hit in 5 out of the last 10 meetings. Pacers 4-6 in their last 10. Milwaukee 7-3 in their last 10. One of those wins is a 118-100 win over the Pacers. A lot of injuries for the Bucks. No Wesley Matthews, no Cousins, no Giannis. Chris Middleton is questionable. Pacers just 0-6 covering on the road against the Bucks on a 6-game losing streak against the Bucks. Really have not been able to get it done whatsoever against Milwaukee. Milwaukee 8-0 at home, 6-0 covering at home against the Pacers. Even without Giannis, definitely missing a lot of pieces here for this Milwaukee team. Pacers just have not really looked that good. They're 3-1 in their last 4. Got a couple good wins, but overall, they just haven't been playing that well. Bucks the much better team, even without the injuries. Such a small spread, there's really not much of a price difference. We'll take the Bucks at home, in which they are currently 8-0 at home. We'll ride that. Hopefully, without Giannis, some of the other guys can step up and get a nice home win without their star. We'll take Milwaukee at home here. That's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on a Wednesday, and I'll see you guys Thursday. Have a good one.